Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second hour of FireYourMDNow.com. We're on a roll today, baby. I tell you what, Alzheimer's, a physician-created disease, a heartburn, a physician-created disease led by salt-restricted diets and diets that are completely deficient and devoid of all calcium. Your medical doctor having no working knowledge whatsoever about the relationship between calcium and healthy stomach acid, having no understanding whatsoever about what even causes heartburn. You got to be kidding me. And these are the people that we give our hard-earned money to in the form of medical insurance premiums just to have the opportunity to genuflect at their altar. Give me a break. Fire your MD now. Cancel your comprehensive medical insurance, buy catastrophic medical insurance instead. Join Youngevity with the money that you save and get your health back. And as you're getting your health back, guess what? You're going to get your wealth back, too. How about that? 2 for 1. Into the bargain. 2 for 1. Gotta love it. Talking about getting your wealth back, I love Tuesdays because with us we have the Vice President of Leadership Development for Youngevity, Mr. Mike Randolph, here to talk to us today about all things financial with Youngevity. Mr. Randolph, welcome back. Thanks for coming.
Hey, Doc. You know what? You just reminded me of something in your opening. Inadequate income is a corporate America-created disease. How do you like that?
I like it, man. Yeah, it's a conspiracy, right, of biblical proportions. I mean, I never was that much of a conspiracy theory guy until I, turned 40. And then I started looking around, and I'm going, son of a gun, there's just too many coincidences going on. And they've been telling us to have salt-restricted diets forever. This causes heartburn, which forwards the use of proton pump inhibitor drugs, which is the second classification of drugs sold in the world. They push this myth of the relationship between cholesterol and heart disease, making statin drugs the leading selling drug in the world, which has then generated Alzheimer's. And they're making tons and tons of money and keeping us under their jackboot, both health-wise and also wealth-wise, because they're, training us in school to become nice little job workers, convincing us that it's impossible to become millionaires, it's impossible to have financial freedom, because all of that stuff is so far outside of our pay grade that it's not even funny. And guess what? It's exactly the opposite. Making money is easy. There's more money in the world than there's ever been in the world before. There's more money in the world right now, ladies and gentlemen, than there has ever been in the world before. Well, why is your bank account empty? Because you've taken the wrong dog to the hunt. Join Youngevity. Go to FireYourMDNow.com. Click on the link to join Youngevity. Join Team Glidden. And my team members will hold your hand, as will I, and drag you into the light of financial freedom through Youngevity. And Mike, in order for this to happen with any network marketing solution, especially with Youngevity, there needs to be a system in place. In order for a system to be in place, there need to be tools in place. Well, let's talk about the tools that are available to Youngevity members right now.
Well, you know what's amazing, Doc? You talk about systems, and there is a system in place, and everybody, all of our listeners right now, if you have any financial frustration, you are following a system already. It's just that the system you're following is not designed for your benefit. It's designed for someone else's benefit. So, you know what? We've got tons of tools, Doc. In fact, one of the most important tools we have is just this simple little booklet that we call the Simple System Quick Start Guide. All of us have bought a new, well, I was going to say VCR, but that would have really dated us. We bought a new Blu-ray or DVD player, or, we want to get the new barbecue. It's summer season, so we want to start grilling, so we get the barbecue grill. There's always that big, thick book, and then there's that little folded-up sheet of paper that says Quick Start Guide. I don't know about you, but
I love that Quick Start Guide. I love the Quick Start Guide.
That's what I go for right away, and I just hope that I can figure out which screw is which by looking at that, because nobody wants to go through that big, thick book, especially us guys. In fact, we like to start at the end and work our way backwards.
That's true.
The Quick Start Guide for Youngevity, I kid you not, Doc, it's only 8 pages. It's super, super simple, and if you follow it, you will prosper. The challenge is we're all so brainwashed, you know, from the moment that we enter this world, the moment we leave our mother's womb, probably even before that, the brainwashing starts to take place. And I don't want it to sound as evil as that sounds, but we start to get conditioned to a certain way of thinking, a certain way of acting, and we place value on ourselves based upon all these crazy things and, you know, go to school, get a degree, get a good job. We all know that formula was for our grandparents. It seemed to work pretty good for them. It's not working so good for us right now. The job market is flooded with 50-year-olds and 60-year-olds who've had their retirement stripped away from them, and everyone is looking up and saying, you know, what do I do now? I did what they told me to do, and now I'm out in the cold. If we follow the thinking that we've been taught, then we're going to be stuck in that rut. One of the things that frustrates me the most about our corporate America mindset is we've been taught that making money is complicated. We've been taught that it's all about us. We've been taught that we have to become incredibly smart or incredibly talented, or we have to be able to do things that no one else can do, or teach things, or, you know, be able to know things that no one else knows. And it's actually exactly the opposite. We need to simplify our thinking. We need to get back to, you know, our mindset we had when we were 4 and 5 years old, because making money and doing well is really that simple.
Follow the simple system, right? I mean, this is it.
That's all you have to do.
I know lots and lots and lots of kids in their 20s, right, who've just graduated from college. They've got $80,000 worth of debt. And, you know, a couple of them studied. But I remember even back in the 80s, to give you a little brief history of my life on planet Earth, right? So I graduate high school in 1976, top of my class. And I get into a really good college, Williams College in northwestern Massachusetts. I last a year and a half at Williams College, and I'm just not into it. It's just not right. It was not the right fit for me. So I quit. I dropped out of college, you know, horrified my parents, for goodness sake. God rest their souls. Horrified my parents. I dropped out of college, and for 4 years, I think 5 years, I bummed around the country. I worked on fishing boats. I mowed lawns, painted houses. I hitchhiked around the country, right? I did a lot of stuff for 5 years, and then got a clue and said, you know what, I want to get involved in medicine. I want to go back to school and get my medical degree. So in my mid-20s, I go back to college when most other people would be in graduate school. So I'm back in school with these 18-year-olds, and I'm in my mid-20s, right? And I have to do the whole 4 years all over again. And I have a very unique perspective on this at the University of Massachusetts. Big campus, giant campus. You know UMass in Amherst. And I'm looking around, and the majority of the kids that I'm in school with, they're not there to learn. They're just there to party. It was a party school. I mean, you know, the only people really that were putting their heads down learning stuff were the kids from Japan and the Chinese students and the foreign students. All of the American students were just partying and learning a little bit here and a little bit there. Isn't that great? Really, it wasn't the education that was the thing. It was the degree that was the thing. It wasn't the education that was the thing. It was the degree that was the thing. And my head exploded. I'm looking around at all these kids wasting all of this money. And I'm thinking to myself, what are they going to get for this? Well, they're not going to get anything from it, but you know who is going to get something from it? The people that gave them the student loans. This is a gigantic industry. It's a gigantic trap that we've all fallen into. It was good for our parents, right? This was good for our parents and for the last generation, but for this generation, a higher education, give me a break. I mean, you're just putting money into the banksters' pockets, and what? So you can hit party for 4 years? Oh, that's just great. Thank you very much. It boggles my mind to think that if kids in their 20s, even, you know, people who are in graduate school, I mean, that's a whole nother level of financial commitment. If people who were in graduate school instead became longevity members, came in at the $500 level, $500 once, became a CEO with longevity, and worked their longevity business the same way that they applied themselves in the educational process, Oh, my God. In 3 years, you know, if they did the master's degree or whatever, the graduate school education, they're going to have debt and they're not going to have any job and they're going to be right back where they started. But if they did the longevity thing for 3 years, they'd be richer and richer and richer and richer and richer. They'd be making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year potentially, and their lives would be changed. But they're not taught this simple method. They're taught the other method, which is the wrong method, and every time I see it, my head wants to freaking explode.
Well, you know what, Doc? I think you hit on something. We've got kids going to school. They're partying for 4 years, and they're paying for that for the rest of their life. What you're talking about with longevity is, you know what? Work for 4 years and then party for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Because really, it's so doggone simple. I built a program a few years back, actually almost a dozen years ago. Longevity has it available. It's called Equity Tracks, and it's a debt elimination system that uses mathematics in your favor instead of the creditor's favor. I mean, your creditors know exactly how everything works, including your mind, and they trick you into things like focusing on interest rate and things like that. But I had clients over the years, esteemed medical doctors, or at least they felt pretty doggone esteemed, and these were guys that had done well financially and were getting ready for retirement, and they wanted to get their financial house in order to make sure that the debts of their clinics and everything else were paid off. And I remember one gentleman specifically, he was in his early 60s, and we're going through his finances, and he was still paying on student loans.
Hold that thought, Mike. We got a hard break coming up. We're going to pick it up where we left off. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Randolph's in the house. Tell everybody in your family this is Fire Your MD. Yeah, that's right, baby. We don't want to work all day, but we want to work. That's why it's called network marketing. But you pay a little bit up front, and then you're, for the rest of your life, it's just like compound interest. It grows and it grows and it grows and it grows. And Mike, we're here with Mike Randolph, the Vice President of Leadership Development for the fabulous Longevity Company. And what you're telling me, Mike, is that you consulted with a very successful medical doctor about his retirement, and he was still paying off his student loans. Now, if a medical doctor couldn't pay off his student loans, what hope does a communications or a history major have? And this is why we're right up against it here in the good old U.S. of A.
I'll tell you, there's practically no hope, because the student loan programs, and if you do a little research, you don't have to look far. You can find all this online, that student loans is the largest segment of debt that's growing in this country. It has eclipsed $1 trillion, and it continues to grow. And really what it is, the student loan programs work just like credit cards, meaning that debt just rolls and revolves every single month. And most of the programs charge, they have a minimum payment structure that's based just on interest. So they want you to rent that money for your entire life. You use it for 4 years, but then you pay the rental fees for the rest of your life. And you know what's amazing to me is how they've tricked us just in one aspect of how we're supposed to behave. They've tricked us into paying these minimum payment structures, which really just boost the profitability to the creditors. And, the lower the payment you make, the more money your creditors make, because a larger and larger percentage of the money you pay them is pure profit. It's pure interest expense. You never actually get around to paying back the money that you originally borrowed. It's kind of like a loan shark, and I know that stuff's illegal. How in the world can this other stuff be legal? Well, it is, because it all feeds the master machine. It all feeds the system that we've plugged into, and we just go blindly. Just as blindly as we go to the MD, just as blindly as we say, yeah, go ahead and put the false knee in, go ahead and I'll take all those drugs. Just as blindly as we do that, we do the same thing on our financial side, on the wealth side of things, and we plug into systems where we're indentured servants for our entire life, and we just kind of hope that the social insecurity system will be there for us.
Yeah, or we're going to find a rich person to marry, or we're going to hit the lottery, or we're going to get hired by the big company. We're going to strike it rich, and it's nonsense, right? Meanwhile, the masters get their money for nothing. And, they're chicks for free, right? Money for nothing, chicks for free. They get all that stuff, and meanwhile we suffer and suffer and suffer and suffer and suffer and suffer and suffer, and then we suffer a little more, and then we get up in the middle of the night and we suffer some more, and it's nonsense. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago when the real estate market went to hell in a handbasket, I had a couple of sleepless nights. It's not fun. It is no fun having financial stress, and it is such a great irony that so many people are underneath the wheel of financial stress at exactly the same moment in time when there is so much money available in the world. I mean, so much money. It's like, being thirsty in the middle of a freshwater pool. For goodness sake, nobody has taught you how to drink. Nobody has taught you how to drink. Well, we're here at Longevity teaching people how to drink. And how do we do it? We do it by applying a simple system. Do you need to know how to spell vitamin to have a successful longevity business? No. You don't.
You don't even know how to. You don't have to know how to spell Dr. Glidden to build a successful longevity business. All you have to do is invest a little time and energy in yourself. That's, I think, what scares a lot of people away is this is not an investment. Getting started with longevity, whether you invest $10 or whether you invest $500, and by the way, when you invest that $500 into your business, you're getting over $500 worth of products,
right?
State-of-the-art products. Beyond that, you're getting the training you need. You're getting the systems that you need. And I think a lot of folks are afraid of that. They've been, just like talking to you, Doc, I know, and I listen to your show almost every day. You give such sage advice. It makes so much sense that some people miss it.
Right.
Our bodies have been taking care of themselves for thousands of years. This whole drug thing, that's pretty recent invention.
Right.
What makes us think that we need that stuff to survive individually or survive as a species? The same is true on the other side. I think people are afraid to invest in themselves. They're afraid to rely on themselves. They're afraid to go out there and do something for their own dreams.
Well, you know what we have to do? We have to drag them into the light. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your friendly neighborhood naturopath, your steadfast advocate for health, talking to you live on the 4th day of June 2013 with Mike Randolph. Mike, it's just a ship of fools. Every which way you look, we've been lied to about health care. We've been lied to about wealth care. We're up against it. We're up against all of these kind of cultural memes and all of this social inertia, which are pushing us in absolutely the wrong direction. And every once in a while, you will get somebody who breaks through and sees the light and applies themselves with longevity. And this goes back to the parable, that parable about the sower who had the good seed, but some fell on rocky ground and didn't grow, and some the birds got, and some the weeds ate. But some fell on fertile ground. So this is the tough job of being a longevity distributor. You have to show this method to 10, 20 people before you're going to get one or two. And you just have to keep pounding it out, keep opening your mouth, keep taking a chance, looking forward to the no's that you're going to get, because you're going to get all of these no's because everybody's brainwashed. Everybody has capitulated their intelligence. Everybody is beneath the wheel, and they're celebrating their freedom by rattling their chains. But every once in a while, you're going to find somebody. And then you're going to find somebody else. And this is why perfecting the simple system is so very important.
It absolutely is. And it's a filtering system. What's amazing, Doc, is you cannot tell, unlike this corporate America mantra that we've been trying to follow, you can't tell by looking at somebody's degree that's hanging on the wall. You can't tell by the way they dress. You can't tell by the way they talk. You can't tell by their religion, their background, where they grew up, what part of the country they're from, what part of the world they're from. You can't tell who the winners really are. So you need to talk to a lot of folks, and the winners will make themselves apparent. And it's a good thing, because when I was first introduced to this industry, when I was introduced to network marketing or direct sales, or however you want to describe it, I was a champion of corporate America. I said all the right things. I was so well indoctrinated into that system. I had, the corporate car. I had the corporate cards. I had property in different places, and I was playing the game better than anyone else did. And I realized as soon as I added everything up, I had houses and vehicles and stuff and just everything that we were taught to chase after. But when I added it all up, I had a negative net worth. I didn't realize that they fool you and they plant you on this slippery slope, and they said, hey, just keep running, not realizing that I was sliding right down the hill. And fortunately, some gutsy people, in fact, I'm going to throw this out there, a gentleman named Hugo Martinez, he had the guts to make a phone call that eventually reached me. He had no idea who I was. I had no idea who he was. He fumbled his way through a horrible presentation, and he did not know at that time that he was talking to the right guy. He didn't know that I was going to be the one for him, for his organization, for his team, that it was not just going to change my life, it was going to change my family's life. And here I am, a pivotal part of this billion-dollar company in the making, Youngevity, some 22, 23 years later. I thank God every day that Hugo Martinez had the guts to step out of his comfort zone and make that call, because if he didn't, I might still be part of that other system.
I know, it's remarkable, isn't it? And that hence we have the old saw. How do you make God laugh? Well, tell him your future plans, right? This is how it is for everybody. And there are turning points in everybody's life, and one of the more frustrating things that happens with the application of a network enrollment process is when you first get into it, you're shy and you're afraid. Most people are, they're dipping their toes in the water. They're not sure of themselves. They don't really know how to do it. There is a learning curve here, but it's a short learning curve. We hold your hand the whole way, folks. It's an easy system, but everybody needs help. Someone had to teach you how to ride a bike, right? You had to fall off a couple times. That's just life. But often what happens, one of the more frustrating things that happens is you'll get into Youngevity and you won't be that sure of yourself, and you'll fumble along, and instead of talking to 10 people a week, you talk to 2 people a week, and then 6 months into your career with Youngevity, you go to a Youngevity meeting and your next door neighbor is there, and they're earning more money than you have, and you were too shy to go and talk to your next door neighbor, but somebody else did. Guess what? Somebody else did. It's a frustrating set of circumstances up front. It can be, but my point here is that everybody is your potential customer in network marketing. Once you get into the groove of this, and you get comfortable with people saying, well, you know what, no, that's really not my cup of tea. I really would rather not do that. Once you get comfortable with rejection, then it's smooth sailing, baby. And I got to tell you, if you're a Youngevity business builder, the secret sauce here is 10 enrollment conversations a week minimum. 10 enrollment conversations a week. That should be your goal, and that should be the goal of everybody in your downline who's an associate and a business builder. 10 conversations a week. Why? Because people are thick-headed, and people are stupid, and people are in the dark, and you need to show it to 10, you need to show it to 20 to get 1. And if you don't show it to that many people, you're going to start thinking it's you who has the problem. It's the company that has the problem, and it's not. It's just human nature. And this is why I'm so excited to be a member of Longevity, because since FDI has been around, since you guys have been around, you have really magnified the message of the simple system, and there's so many tools in the back office that people can use now.
There is, and you know what, Doc, you say this so often. You know, if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And, you know, we have a super simple system, and we give everyone just enough tools. Even if you need a hammer, sometimes people need something a little different to give them the confidence to go out there and go ahead and step out of their comfort zone a little bit. It's all about timing. One of the things that's most amazing to me is logically, you and I both know everyone needs what we have to offer. They need what we have to offer on the health side. They need what we have to offer on the wealth side. But we can't create the want. You know, the need is already there. Don't worry about trying to create the need. It is there. It's a fact. Everyone needs what we have to offer, but not everyone wants it. And I'm going to steal another line from you, and that most people don't know that they don't know what they don't know.
Right.
And until you pierce that bubble that has built up around each and every one of us, until that moment comes where the epiphany, where the world opens up and people do go, oh my gosh, it's not, the world isn't really flat. They told me all these years it was flat. It's not really flat. Every one of us needs to reach that little moment on our own, and that's all timing. So follow-up is critical, and just being real, being you, and being more interested in other people, those are the little secrets that will completely change your life. And I've always said, well, I haven't always said this, but recently I've come to understand that, you know, the price of enlightenment, Doc, the price of enlightenment is in realizing that no one else is. And
yeah, I like it. Yeah, it's true.
You know, once you get over that fact, it's just a matter of putting yourself out there, making yourself available, and realizing that it's all timing. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Everyone's thirsty, but they don't know it yet.
Yeah, see, this is the thing. So we have to talk to a number of people in order to make the business work, because, you know, people are in the dark, and it's not everybody that's going to come into the light, but some people are going to come into the light, and those are the people that we're looking for. So if the Simple System Quick Start Guide is Mike Randolph's favorite back office tool, number one favorite back office tool, what's his number two favorite back office tool?
Number two favorite back office tool is the training video series, because we have the Simple System Quick Start Guide. For those of you that don't want to grab that little brochure and read it, we have a video series. A good friend of mine, we call him the $17 million man, Mr. Steve Schultz, goes through the Simple System Quick Start Guide in kind of a video format. So those of us that are conditioned to watch TV, we can put that up on the screen and we can learn the same things. The danger in all of it is it's so simple that most of us miss it, because we've been
that's
brainwashed
correct.
into thinking that it has to be complicated.
Right.
You know, what you do, Doc, it really is so simple. Your approach to health and wellness is amazingly simple, and it is so simple that most of us miss it, because we've been taught that good things are complicated. Well, you know what? Good things aren't complicated. Good things are simple.
Yeah, it's true. And I've always said that, you know, given the right parrot, I could teach a parrot how to have a successful longevity business, because there's only a certain amount of words that you have to say to anybody. There's only a certain amount of words, and actually you got to be a little Zen mastery about it. The less you talk, the better it is. You want to be interested in the other person instead of being interesting yourself. And here's the key to your success, ladies and gentlemen. Memorize this phrase. By the way, it's on my online health recovery webinar series. If you want to subscribe to that, $17 a month. It'll be the best $17 a month you've ever spent. Check it out at fireyourmdnow.com, online health recovery program. Check it out. But here it is. I'm giving it to you for free. I know a doctor that says you don't have to suffer with that. If I lend you this CD, will you listen to it? Number one. Number two, I know a doctor that says you don't have to suffer with that. If I send you a link to this webinar, will you watch it? And number three, I'm starting a home-based business. It's awesome. I need to find 3 people to work with. I don't know if you're one of them. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. I'd love to show you what we're up to, and then you can tell me if you'd like to do it too. And if not, that's okay, but maybe you'll know someone who this is a good fit for, because I need to find 3. I'm going to send you a link to this video. I want you to watch it. I'm going to lend you this magazine. I want you to read it and get back to me. That's all that you have to do. That's all that you have to do 10 times a week. Can you do that 10 times a week? That's all that you need to do. Well, yeah, you need to learn the compensation plan. You need to learn what auto ship is. You need to learn the terms. There is a little bit of learning involved here, but if you can pass the driver's license test, you can learn everything you need to know about longevity in a couple of months, and we will hold your hand and teach you how to do it, because your friends and family members are suffering needlessly, not only with their health, but with their wealth. And you have the solution. As it turns out, you are the change you've been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. It's true. Join Longevity today. You do not know what you're missing. It's the most fantastic thing to ever come along. The best thing to happen to medicine since the sterile technique, and the best thing to happen to finances since compound interest. Stick around. We're closing it out with Mike Randolph when we come back. I am Dr. Peter Glidden, and this is Fire Your MD Now. If you're listening to the podcast, folks, 855-347-3696, 855-347-3696. That's the number you want to call to learn about the health opportunity, the wealth opportunity, how to get the supplements at the wholesale price, and how to make money honestly and with integrity by showing your friends and family and church members and community members how to recover their health and or how to recover their wealth. This is the best thing to happen to medicine since the invention of the sterile technique, and the best thing to happen to finances since the invention of compound interest. Talking with Mike Randolph here in the last 5 minutes of our show today. Mike, longevity, man, I don't know, man. The company just continues to break records every month. I mean, what's going on?
It's absolutely amazing. We are a 17-year-old overnight sensation. You know that Dr. Wallach is decades ahead of his time, and, so much is just now coming around. Just now becoming obvious to people. Well, it's the same on the business side. We are decades ahead of ourselves, and people are just now catching on. I mean, with the controversies in our economy, with the controversies in healthcare, with the controversies in corporate America right now, and disappearing pension funds and 401ks that have become no 01ks, and all these things. The ostriches are starting to pull their heads out of the sand and look around and going, this is not what they told us it was. This is not, what I was taught. And they're starting to realize that there is another way. And we don't need everyone to become part of longevity. We only need you. We only need you. And you'll go out there and you'll find a handful of people that will find a handful of people that will find a handful of people that feel the same way, and your life will change forever. These products will change the way you feel, and the income opportunity will change what you do. And, the number one fear of retirees, Doc, is outliving their income.
Exactly.
People have lost hope because
right.
They don't think they're going to be able to pay their bills. We can change all of that. I don't care if you're 16, 65, 89, or if you just turned 100 years old. We can put financial prosperity back on your map.
Well, and it's a renaissance, right? I mean, it's a renaissance of sorts. Usually, historically, in order for a renaissance to happen, there has to be a mass wiping out of the population, so that there's all these resources available now to only a handful of people. That's what has fueled all of the renaissances in the past. What's fueling this renaissance is the Internet. It's the information generation, because we can now get information from the Internet. We don't have to go to corporate media. And the only job of corporate media is to brainwash us into the same old patterns that's good for them, not so good for us. The Internet has changed everything. And that's why we're stepping up to the plate here with Youngevity. That's one of the reasons why Youngevity is growing. It's because of Alex Jones. It's because of Dr. Wallach's radio show. Because of this radio show. Because of the assimilation of FDI and Youngevity and all of the training tools that your team brought to the Youngevity family. I mean, it was a perfect conflagration of things all coming together at exactly the right moment in time, and that's why it's taking off. And again, I tell people all the time, we're not selling a darn thing. We're not selling anything. We're showing people what we're up to and seeing if they'd like to do it too. You're either in or you're out. You know, I remember when I was playing catch with my buddies back when I was a kid. If you don't want to play catch, well, what am I doing? I'm throwing stuff at you, and that's no fun. That's no fun for anyone. We're not selling anything. We're showing people what we're up to and seeing if they'd like to do it too. And the people that would like to do it too, oh man, it's a life changer for them. And it's such a fun group of people to be around too, Mike. I mean, I never would have met you had it not been for Youngevity. I never would have met Steve Schultz or Bill Andreoli or Ashley James or Duffy James or any of the big movers and shakers here, the Commander, Mike Phillip. I never would have met any of these people, and this is what it's all about. A brand new family is out there waiting to meet you, ladies and gentlemen. Join Youngevity and make a difference. Mike Randolph, a parting shot from you, my friend, and then we're out of here.
Well, you know what? All I can say is this. But we're all like thoroughbred racehorses, and they have blinders on for a reason. It's time to take the corporate America blinders off and put your Youngevity blinders on. Put your head down, and you know what? Go, 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 and do not pick your head up till you reach your next goal.
Gotta love it right there from the not so much of a horse's mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Randolph. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. See you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Over and out.